Oh my god, dude.
What?
I was looking for this.
Oh, that's where our light went.
That's where the light went, obviously. That's it. We're running styrofoam, baby. Oh. Now, I'm not a huge fan of the exact angles of this, but let's be honest, functionality wins over everything else. We're gonna end up redesigning part of this as we go, but that's all talk. This is the real deal. Oh. An insane 24 injector intake manifold. The best unboxing video ever, guys. Well, it's very clear that Carl was making no mistake in the fear of this thing getting damaged in shipping, or what. I've never seen anybody package something this thorough. Oh my god. What a beefy approach to solving a lot of this. I have so many things to say. I have so much going on in my mind. No question whether or not we can run E85 on this thing. Those are 4 injectors per rotor, where a typical rotary engine only has 2, a primary and a secondary. We legitimately have 4. One of the things that was brought to my attention, actually by Paul Yaw, who is one of the owners and founders of Injector Dynamics, there's gonna be so much fuel pressure and so many injectors that this rail will experience about 100 pounds. Oh my god, that's a pretty beefy thing. He said, hey, this rail better be able to hold 100 pounds of force because of all these injectors pushing against it. And in the pictures, I wasn't so sure, but look at that. I don't think that's going anywhere. You shouldn't be able to pick it up like this. I'm shooting you guys straight with this. The angle of this intake manifold is odd, but pretty damn functional.
That thing is huge.
It is beefy. You can see inside, air goes in, question mark, question mark, question mark, power. Some of you sharper-eyed guys would notice in a couple seconds, this is not a peripheral ported motor. A lot of people go way too big on their porting, in my opinion. I'm a huge fan of massive street ports or even bridge ports, but street porting is a beautiful thing. Modern technology has really made it awesome. This being just a side ported motor may surprise some of you, but guess what? You can make an insane amount of power with just that. Okay. Alternator. This whole setup is going to require so much power. With this setup requiring all this power, the sheer number of injectors, the sheer number of ignition coils, all of that, you guessed it, we're going to need a heavy duty. Oh my god, this thing's made a full round trip. This is from Irvine. They call it smart battery charger, but it's the same as the one on my other one. Look at it, it's the same one on the Corvette. This thing came from here, left, and then came back. Or at least it looks like it. As many of you guys know, oil on a rotary is life. And no, not the apex seal oil injection. I'm talking about actual lubrication. Carl sent me not only this, which is an external oil pump. See how it's got this extension on the back? We also have, what is this, you might ask? Can you guess what this is?
Fuck no, I have no
Exactly.
idea what that is.
I wouldn't either. I wouldn't be able to tell you. That's power steering.
That's power steering?
Yeah, so we now have power steering hooked in. So we actually, this monster car is not only going to have insane oil feeding, but also power steering. And of course, along this whole shaft is going to be a fuel pump as well, belt-driven fuel pump. And it looks like he already included some of the potential things to hook it up to the motor and so on. Nodder from Built Apex is going to help with all this as well. That's a beefy oil pump. Because this thing is going to require, kind of like what I did with the Corvette, this thing's going to require insane, like sweating, oh my God, insane amounts of oil pressure. Because you really keep that 4-rotor floating in the middle of all the journal bearings. Are we ready for the ultimate part of this? I haven't given much information online at all. This is a massive step in the right direction for the future of rotaries. Very transparent with you guys. If I see something happening and it breaks, you guys will know about it. But I think that the concept of billet motors has gotten to a point where I think it's worth putting to the test. I know they can make power, but now it's to see if they can make reliability. So this is one of the first billet 4-rotors, right there. I did it. Went and got a custom billet 4-rotor, and I can't even begin to tell you guys the level of billetness that is in this motor. There are so many things custom that you're not going to find out about until a little while later. This is a very experimental block, with that being capable of making insane amount of horsepower. Those are the irons that, instead of grafting like bearings and all this other sort of crap, these are made from scratch. one raw piece of metal, which is the whole reason people love the word billet. So for some of you that don't know, it's one raw piece of metal and everything's carved out of it. One raw piece of metal and everything's carved out of it. This one's our little secret sauce here. We'll cover that at another time. What's also sick, it should be in here. Yeah, there it is. There's the same Billet Boss front cover found on the Corvette. One or two of you, my friends, picked up on it that, yeah, it's Carl, the Lexus Fat Boy Drift's former motor, but this one has never been ran. This is his special motor, and unfortunately Carl got out of rotaries. LS got to him, guys. It sucks. We lost one of our best. That means that we gained the finished motor for that. I'll be honest, I'm just so fascinated right now. We're just gonna be firing off almost daily content. We gotta get this over to Abel. He's gotta take a look at it, see what his thoughts are on it. Obviously it was built by somebody else, kind of an infamous guy from New Zealand, Australia area, and of course, nobody ever sees eye to eye. I'm simply the end user at this point, but I've got my own opinions, but all I want is a 4-rotor to run, and that's exactly what I put my money where my mouth is. Everything that happened because of this car, everything that's been complete radio silence because of the channel, all of the money, everything that I've got, everything that everybody else has contributed to this, made this possible. And I do have to give a special shout out to Adaptronic, or Elliot from Turblone. He helped make this massively possible. That is, if you guys purchase your turbo kits, and even though I'm a big Garrett guy, he does a lot of Borg Warner, EFR kits. Definitely look at supporting him because he helped make this project move. So guys, here we are. Let's dig into it. You've already seen the unveil, but that's what we're about to film right now. The point is that you want to get the magic first, and then let's talk about the details. So here we are. This is a Billet 4-rotor, and this is more custom and more unique and more capable than any other Billet 4-rotor on the block. Whether it's true or not, we'll find out all together. I'm very transparent. We'll all see that. But until then, let's get this out and in front of the host. If you can't teach a fish to bring Jesus to water, then you can't make him drink.
The fuck does that even mean?
Jared, you just don't understand the deeper side of these meanings. I'm mixing a couple different cliches at once. Or, you know what, if you can't get water to some...
Rob, what the fuck?
I'm having an aneurysm. I have no idea what's about to happen. It's only a $55,000 piece of equipment.
Not scary.
Okay guys, this is the moment. Oh my God, a completed 4-rotor. At that, one of the highest horsepower from one of the people that know the most about how to build these and how to race them. So this is not guessing. This is very much solid. There are so many details I'm seeing that I'm gonna need a moment alone with this. What I was just telling Jarrett earlier, or I was teasing him, look at this guys, I'm gonna give you a little shot right here. Those are studs. And I would have to guess that is not 10 millimeter. That's closer to 12 or half an inch. So this thing's like vice gripped together with much larger studs, kind of like myself. Oh, you know what? You know what we can do while we're in this exact and very vulnerable moment? About to find the center of mass of a 4-rotor and try and balance it on here. Give you guys the same readings we get instead of there being any confusion about that. Holy shit, no way.
293?
That's its full weight.
That's its full weight?
That's its full weight.
293.
No way.
293.
That's the full weight of this thing on that. It was leaning, you know, so I'm sure there's a couple pounds maybe here or there, but it was on that.
293.
No way.
Yeah. Holy shit.
That's still 380. That has intake manifold, starter, and that sort of stuff. This is a bare block, but that's still nuts. 280, sub 300 pounds for a 4-rotor block. Hey, you hear it here first. That's for me. That's really fascinating. What crack was I smoking? Oh, because I think we weighed the 3-rotor full to try and be fair.
Yeah.
Manifolds.
What was the 3-rotor?
320?
320?
I thought the 3-rotor was closer to that.
Man, we gotta just go back and
We have to watch our own videos.
We should watch our own video to find out.
Okay, this is literally the very first thing I ever bought for the 4-rotor. And I'm never gonna be able to use it. But we're gonna go ahead and set this up as the base. I don't even think this will work for this engine. Maybe it will. The front cover might be the right front cover. Or it's the FD front cover, one of the two. We're gonna get it to the same height as the engine in the car to really make it the correct feel. This might be the actual closer to the correct height of the engine in the car. It just doesn't present the way I'm trying to present it. So I'll put it on jack stands. These all blocked off. And it even has this piece fitted to it just to block off all the exhaust ports. It's just a one-off piece just for that. Okay, here's a piece to be gentle with. The whole front oil metering gear, counterweight. Obviously the billet boss system goes all on this. I'm so used to not seeing a full 4-rotor. That's it. Out of all the oil pans to damage, this would be the one. Well, I think that oil pan would work with the billet boss front cover too. Holy crap. So it is still useful, just not. We can use it in the C8. Piece we all have come to know and adore. Straight up that this oil pan was built for this. Unlike my previous motor that you couldn't put those on because there was no E-shaft inside of it. Here we have actually all connected system. This is a correct case for the new Babe. This is surprisingly the heavy one. Alright, it's time to put the intake manifold on, exhaust manifold on, and you know what. Okay, it gets weird here. This, I would definitely say it gets weird, because this isn't our dream or ideal setup, but you know what? The dream setup doesn't exist at the moment. This does. And it's gonna work. I said like 24 injectors. There are 16, which is still absolutely bonkers. One of the important things, I am picking it up by the fuel rails because that is part of the test that I was told about by actually none other than one of the owners of ID Injectors. If you can't pick up 100 pounds on each of these rails, they're not going to be able to handle the amount of fuel pressure that you're running with that many injectors. And it honestly seems to pass. I hated it at first. It's growing on me.
I like it.
I know. I never liked this straight angle here, but it's pretty sick. It's a little tall because this hits the car, but it's actually really way more compact in person. Way smaller. Like there's just barely enough room for some like ignition or whatever down there. And look at that way the injectors are staged. Like those are going straight down in there. That's kind of sick. Now that you like see them on there, they're like meant for business. So then you guys with a really sharp eye are going to notice that this is the same exhaust manifold we made for SEMA 2016. We cut off one of the exhaust runners to try one of many solutions to get this to run the all-wheel drive system. I've simply tacked that back on, and it is for mock-up and getting the engine to idle, but the final one will be recreated with the runners kind of coming up higher and quicker. Before we had the way the front drive shaft coming through here, we've got a much better solution now. Here we are. It's never been ran before like this. It's also never been ran before by me either, but it's just this combination of things has never existed. Okay, thanks to Jarrett, we now have 3/8 inch bolts for the turbo. The turbo's not gonna flip the whole engine over while we're at it. All right, I have to leave you guys with one more cliffhanger because there's the rest of this, and it's gonna get unveiled in next week's episode. No, tomorrow's video is all about the crown jewel, the piece that's supposed to be here. No, it's not the 98 millimeter. Garrett gave us something a little bit spicier.